Once upon a time, there was a kingdom so prosperous that its name traveled beyond mountains and seas. At the center of that kingdom stood a palace of white marble and shining gold where the king lived. A king who had everything. He had power, he had wealth, he had armies that obeyed his every word. He had servants who moved at the sound of his breath. But when night fell, when the palace grew silent, when the torches went out one by one, the king could not sleep. He tossed and turned in his silk-covered bed. He stared at a ceiling decorated with jewels. He listened to the ticking of time he could not control. His mind never rested. He thought of betrayal. He thought of hidden enemies. He thought of losing everything he had spent his life building. The more he owned, the more afraid he became of losing it. Each night he summoned doctors, advisors, and wise men. They offered potions, they offered words, they offered promises. Nothing worked. Meanwhile, beyond the palace walls, inside a small hut made of old wood and clay, a poor man prepared for sleep. He had no gold, he had no land, he had no power, only a worn blanket and a peaceful heart. The poor man worked with his hands. At sunrise, he walked to the fields. At sunset, he returned tired, but content. He ate simple bread. He drank fresh water. He gave thanks for another day of breath. When he lay down, he did not fear tomorrow. He welcomed it with hope. If the sun rose, he would work. If it rained, he would rest. If he had little, he would share. If he had nothing, he would still smile. That night, he fell asleep within minutes. Meanwhile, the king paced endless hallways. Each echo of his footsteps reminded him how alone he was. He had thousands of servants, but no one who could hear his fear. He had chests filled with gold, but a heart that felt empty. The king looked out the window. He watched lights fade in humble homes. He saw the kingdom at rest, and he asked himself a question he had never dared to ask before. Why do they sleep while I cannot? At dawn, the king made a dangerous decision. He left the palace without a crown, without guards, without titles. Dressed as a common man, he walked through the streets. He heard laughter, he heard songs, he heard life. He stopped in front of the poor man's small hut. From inside, he heard deep, peaceful breathing. He knocked. The poor man opened his eyes and smiled. He did not know it was the king. He only saw a tired traveler. "How can you sleep so peacefully?" the king asked, "with everything you don't have?" The poor man paused, then replied, "I sleep well because my conscience is light, because I owe nothing to anyone, because I do not fear losing what I never tried to own." The king felt those words strike his chest. The poor man continued, "Wealth is not what you keep, it's what you can let go of. Power is not control, it's living without fear. And peace cannot be bought." The king returned to the palace transformed. Nothing had changed outside, yet everything had changed within. That night, for the first time in years, the king slept. Not deeply, not perfectly, but he slept. Today, many live like kings, but sleep like prisoners. They chase more, they collect more, they fear more, and forget to live. Maybe it's not about having less, but needing less. Maybe true wealth is closing your eyes without fear. Because at the end of the day, the poor man slept better than the king.